You should not be studying 12 hours a day every day in the long term. It's not an effective long-term strategy, and it's just not healthy. On this channel, I really try to get across the message that you don't need to be studying crazy hours every day. You just need to focus on studying efficiently, on studying smart. Saying that though, if you are occasionally going to be studying the entire day, or even study sessions that are 5 or 6 hours long, then you need to keep your health in check so that it becomes a sustainable study strategy. The last thing I want is you burning out, putting on weight, suffering from mood disorders, etc. because you're studying so much. So in this video, I'm going to go through 9 ways that you can study long hours, but in a healthy and sustainable way. And these methods will help keep you focused as well, so you're actually able to study efficiently for the entire 10, 11, 12 hours or however long you're studying for. Socialise. So this might seem counterintuitive, right? I'm encouraging you to kick back, socialize, hang out with friends, because it really is important. I'm coaching a few dozen students one-on-one in the Transform Your Grades in 30 Days course. You can check it out, there's a link in the description below. And we're currently running a 50% discount promotional offer, but I'm starting to notice more and more of my students, when they first come to me, they're kind of isolating themselves from everyone else around them. They're studying so hard, which is great, but they're neglecting their social life, and doing that long term, that's dangerous territory. Socializing at least once a week is essential for so many things. It helps you develop social skills that you're just not taught in formal education, and it's a great way of boosting morale as well. And for me at least, if I'm stressed or if I've had a long day at work, there's nothing better than just to chill out with friends for a few hours to unwind. And also networking. It was only until after I graduated from university that I realized how important networking actually is. It's good to know people, and the more people you know, the more opportunities present themselves, the more doors open. And socializing massively helps with that. Social learning. Instead of just studying for 12 hours a day sitting by yourself in front of your laptop, social learning is a great way to mix things up. So social learning is basically just studying with a friend or a small group of friends. It can be a really helpful and effective way of learning for 2 reasons. Firstly, you might be helping out your friends and explaining to them certain concepts that they don't understand, which strengthens your neural pathways, so you're actually learning the material better yourself. And secondly, they can help you, so you can help them and they can help you. So if there's something you don't understand, then they can teach you. And again, it gets you out of this situation where you're isolating yourself from the people around you. By studying in a group, you're socializing, you're learning, and it's generally more engaging than studying by yourself, right? I used to study a lot at the library. I'd probably do 80% of my studying in the library, but sometimes I would study with my friends for an hour or two in between lectures, and it was just, I don't know, it was a nice break. It just mixes things up rather than studying alone all the time. Just do make sure that you stay on the topic of studying and don't start getting distracted with things like plans for the weekend. Sleep. So out of high school, I always used to be tired, especially in the middle of the day after lunchtime. And it's funny because I was always tired, but I never thought to look at my sleeping schedule and see if there was a problem, because I was only sleeping for 5 or 6 hours a night, which isn't too bad, but is certainly not good either. And at university, I made sure I got at least 7 hours of sleep a night. I probably average about 7.5 hours. It's only a couple of hours more than I was getting before, but it made a huge difference to how I felt during the day, and it made a massive difference to my productivity as well. I mean, this is pretty fundamental. You need to get enough sleep. If you really want to be firing on all cylinders throughout the day and study hard and achieve the best grades that you can, then you need to build a strong foundation first. And for me, the single most important thing that I need to do regarding sleep is wake up at the same time every single morning and go to bed at the same time every single night with no exceptions. It makes a massive difference in terms of your quality of sleep. So 7 or so years ago, I used to work night shifts at a supermarket, and some days I worked day shifts and some days I'd work night shifts. And my sleeping pattern was so messed up because sometimes I'd be working in the day and sometimes I'd be working until 6 in the morning. And honestly, it was absolutely exhausting. You couldn't pay me enough money to go back to living that life, because getting enough sleep plays a big part in building that strong foundation. I mean, it goes without saying, but if you're not getting enough sleep in the long term, you're at a far higher chance of suffering from obesity, type 2 diabetes, cancer, depression, and there's so many other conditions related to that. So yeah, this is important. Get enough sleep. The Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is where you set a timer, usually about 25 minutes. You study intensively for that 25 minutes, then you take a 5-minute break. And I talk about this method in more detail in another video I made, Study Methods, What Works and What Doesn't, where I basically rank all the study methods in terms of what is effective and works and what isn't effective and what doesn't work. You can click on the pop-up banner to watch that, but I rank the Pomodoro technique really highly because it's great for 2 reasons. Firstly, it kind of forces you to take breaks. And this is important because, well, good luck studying for 12 hours straight without any breaks, right? But by taking regular breaks, it gives your brain a rest and you can recharge and study for longer as a result. Secondly, every break you should be getting up and moving around. So sitting at a desk for hours every day and not moving is incredibly unhealthy. So the Pomodoro method helps to remind you that you need to keep moving to keep your blood circulating. Exercise. This is something else that I never used to do at high school, but I started doing at university and it had such a massive positive impact on my life. And I really kind of want to share my story here on my channel because I do want to inspire as many people as I can to start regularly exercising because there are just so many benefits. So when I was at high school, I was super skinny. I didn't do any sports and honestly, I used to hate exercise. But now I really can't imagine my life without it. What I didn't realize a few years ago is that exercising, it doesn't have to be boring. There are so many different ways to move, to work out, to burn calories. And when I was younger, I wish I knew that if I chose a sport that I enjoyed, then it wouldn't feel like exercise. So pick something, do it regularly, become good at it, and it'll change your life, trust me, because there are so many studies that back this up as well, not just from my experience. For example, Dr. John Ratey, professor at Harvard Medical School, says that exercise improves learning on 3 levels. Firstly, it optimizes your mindset to improve alertness, attention, and motivation. Secondly, it prepares and encourages nerve cells to bind to one another, which is the cellular basis for logging in new information. And thirdly, it spurs the development of new nerve cells from the stem cells in the hippocampus. In short, not only does exercise help you actually sit down and study in the first place, but when you are studying, it actually makes retaining information a whole lot easier. Hydration. This is something that is often overlooked by students. If you're regularly feeling tired and lethargic during the day, it could just be that you're dehydrated. So a study in 2019 at Northeastern University and the University of Illinois found that just making a conscious effort of drinking a couple of glasses of water more than you normally would each day can keep you hydrated and increase your ability to multitask as well as improve your memory. The results of the study showed a clear correlation between how much water a participant drank and how long they were able to focus for. And how I tend to do it is I've made it into a kind of habit. So as soon as I wake up, I drink 2 glasses of water, and throughout the day I usually have a bottle of water with me and I put it on my desk so that I keep seeing it. So every time I see it, it reminds me that I need to drink more water. It's even more important for me now that I'm living in Vietnam where the climate is a lot hotter. So if you're living in a hot climate too, then it's definitely something that you should keep in mind. Eat healthily. This is another foundational element that you need to get right before really working on anything else. A study featured in the February 2011 edition of the Journal of School Health looked at the correlation between drinking sugar-laden soda on a regular basis and academic performance among students in the US. And the study found that when the students limited their soda intake, their academic performance improved significantly. It concluded that eating and drinking healthily has a positive impact on academic performance among students. And as a side note, in addition to dietary changes, the study also concluded an increase in physical activity among the students, finding that eating healthily and regular exercise was the most effective combination to improve academic performance. Hustle culture. Hustle culture is almost becoming fashionable these days, and if you look at my videos 2 or 3 years ago, I also kind of pushed that message too. This message of study hard no matter how you're feeling, just keep going and going and going. But I'm kind of trying to take a step back from that now. I mean, I absolutely think you should push yourself. Even if you're feeling tired and you want to procrastinate, you should push through that. You should push through it. But just keep in mind that you should be prioritizing your health above everything else. But that's also why I made this video too, because I do want you to be pushing yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, but I want you to do it in a sustainable and healthy way. But if you follow all the tips in this video, I'm sure you're not going to have a problem with that. Patience. Being able to study for 12 hours a day is not easy. Firstly, as I said at the beginning of the video, you shouldn't be trying to study 12 hours a day every day in the long term. For short bursts before your exams, sure, but in the long term, you should be focusing on studying more efficiently and more intensely rather than studying for longer periods. And I made a video on how exactly to do that, how you can make your studying more efficient so you don't have to study as long. You can click on the card on the screen. Alternatively, I also made a video on 6 high performance habits of successful people. They're both really important videos, so whichever one you choose, I'll see you over there.